We're going to call this council meeting to order. Let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you for taking the times out of your schedule to come and be a part of the transactions of governing this community of Batesburg-Leesville. I want to thank council for being here this evening and all of our staff for their service to this community and this town. Let us bow for a moment of prayer, if you will. Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we come now, Father, with hearts filled with thanksgiving. We just want to say thank you today, Lord. We thank you, oh God, for the Batesburg-Leesville community. We thank you for this world, oh God, which you have total control over, God, and we realize that everything that's good, Lord, comes from you, and that you have power, Lord, to do anything but fail. So, Lord, we ask that you come into our midst this evening and be for us what we cannot be for ourselves. Bless us, oh God, as only you can bless. Lord, guide our hearts, minds, and our tongues, that we might make the best decisions for the future and citizens of this great community that you have blessed us to oversee. We give you honor, praise, and glory. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen. Amen. Let us pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all so much. First order on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by District 6, second by District 5. There. Is there any discussion? If not, District 1?
District 1 votes yes.
District 3?
District 3 votes yes.
District 5?
Yes.
And District 6?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you all. Next on the agenda, we have the mayor's report. Next regular council meeting, September the 11th, 2017.
We've got to adopt the minutes.
Adoption of the minutes. Thank you, council. Adoption of the minutes from our regular council meeting dated July the 10th, 2017. Do we have a motion?
I so move.
I'll second.
Moved by District 1, second by District 5. Any discussion? District 1?
District 1 votes yes.
District 3?
District 3 votes no.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
And District 4 votes yes. Thank you so much. Mayor's report. Next regular council meeting, September the 11th, 2017. Council committee report. Central Midland is vacant. The Environmental Planning Advisory Committee, Councilmember Penny.
Yes, the EPAC actually met twice this year. The last time was July 19th. There were two things on the agenda. One's very simple to explain, and that is over the next 20 years, roughly, the EPAC voted to allow the City of Columbia to expand their wastewater treatment plant up to 80 million gallons per day. And that's a long-term plan. The other is not quite so easy to explain, and that is because they're trying to reduce the the amount of organic materials in the lower Saluda River. DHEC made a suggestion that all of the treatment plants that dump into the lower Saluda and upper Congaree reduce their the number of things they put into the river by 25%, I think was the number, maybe 15, something like that. And Casey raised a very valid point, and that was the fact that a couple years ago, they put a lot of money into making a very, very nice, very efficient wastewater treatment plant. And why should they have to reduce another 15 to 25% when some of the other facilities like East Midlands and something haven't done a darn thing in about 25 years? And they were saying, let's balance the load a little bit. And essentially said, Casey said, we will give up some of our, if you can balance it, if East Midlands will come down some. EPAC said yes. That was a valid way of doing things. So, like I said, that was a very short answer to a long problem.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Next on the agenda, we have Joint Municipal Water Sewer Commission, Councilmember Penny.
And we met this past Wednesday. There were basically two things on the agenda. One was we had a 30-something inch line that supplies all of the joint water from the Waste Columbia treatment plant that needed to have a valve replacement. Boils down to a $50 gasket cost about $500,000 with the amount of what it went through. We had to do a supplemental budget appropriation of about $155,000 into our maintenance to cover that. The second thing is a little nicer for me, if you don't mind. I was elected the chairman of the Joint Water and Sewer Commission this past Wednesday.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
That was it for those two.
Great, thank you, Councilman Penny. Are there any questions for Councilman Penny? If none, we will move on to the VNL Chamber of Commerce update. Executive Director Mike Taylor will present.
Thank you, sir.
You quite well.
From the county councilman Larry Brigham was unable to come due to another county meeting. And he did give me a few things to say, but he's here and present, and I'll be taking that up a little bit later, so I'll leave that alone. Lexington County School District 3, Dr. Gary reported that the teachers had the 21st off due to the possible traffic problems anticipated in buildings that day. Extra security to enter the buildings has been added to the primary, elementary, and middle schools. 2,000 bricks from the old high school will be saved and given to individuals on a first-come basis. The bricks will be free and limited to 1 brick per person. The consolidated sign at the top of the building and the front lamp post will be saved and will be used in some form in the school district at a later date. Mike Each, Director of the Economic Development in Lexington County, stated that the drawings for the landscaping, irrigation, and signage in Batesburg-Leesville Industrial Park have been given to the Economic Committee for their review. A consultant forester is on board also to represent the county in daylighting the park. Expect pad of approximately 50,000 square feet will be added to the park in the near future. From the chamber, the annual auction, which is the chamber's main fundraiser, will be held Saturday, August 26th at 10 S Farm, beginning at 7 p.m. Our general membership meeting will be the Thursday before that on August 24th at Chief's Barbecue, beginning at 7:30. The chamber, dream catchers, Arts on the Ridge, and Batesburg-Leesville Ministerial Alliance participate in National Night Out. The Batesburg Ministerial Alliance, of course, is not a part of the chamber, but they needed to change, so I wanted to get this. Annual community back-to-school praise and prayer service will be Sunday, August the 20th, beginning at 3 p.m. at Haynes Auditorium. Letters of prayer and gratitude will be sent to all teachers in the school system this week. At this time, I'd also like to thank Councilman Simpkins for his chairmanship in the past years and his dedication to that. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
From the Dream Catchers, they conducted a talent show Friday, August the 4th, and held a basketball tournament that Saturday at the Batesburg-Leesville Leisure Center. They are now selling tickets for the Dream Catchers Barbecue Chicken fundraiser, which will be held on Saturday, August the 2nd, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tickets are $10 and available at the chamber office.
Mike,
That's
a barbecue August the 2nd?
September 2nd, I'm sorry, September 2nd. My mistake, thank you, Council. My mistake, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Taylor.
Mike.
Now, you mentioned the school that they have demoed the building there. Do you know what cost that was? Did Dr. Gary say?
about 400,000. You're tearing it down?
Right.
All three buildings, my understanding is around 400,000. That's clearing the property, taking it down, seeding it, everything. But asbestos and all that.
Okay, what, did he say anything about the plans they have for it? 'Cause
That's
you-
what they hope, once that's cleared and everything, to, put that property up for sale. And they're not exactly sure whether they're gonna have, how they're gonna divide it or anything like that right now.
What, the reason I asked is because, you know, we tore down the Burlington building and now it's just a dust bowl out there, it's just gray matter. I thought it was supposed to be green space and it looks terrible on that road coming up 23. I mean, it just looks pretty bad, so I'm hoping that there's a plan to kind of landscape a little bit and so it doesn't look like it looks more like a lot instead of a.
I'm not on the school board, but from what Dr. Gary said that day, it will be like that. And let's hope that the uses of the school system is a little bit different in Burlington and what was under the ground there won't be underground here. So I hope we won't have that problem.
One other question.
Yes.
The industrial park, there's a lot of money going into that pit hole. Do we have a tenant? We always have a potential tenant.
They had a good week from what I understand, or a good month. They've had, I think, 4 or 5 people that are interested in it. Like I say, they're getting the lighting and landscaping and stuff like that, but they're hoping that, I think, once the pad's put down and people can, that daylighting will thin out the property and people be able to see the property much better.
When you say daylight, you talking about cutting down the trees?
Thinning.
Okay. And so now, have they considered the idea that you might want to make that property residential property? Because I mean, we've been down this path. We $1 million plus $3-4 million down this whole rabbit hole with this industrial park, and there's no takers, and we keep putting money into it. Is there a plan B?
Councilman Kane, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. I wish I could answer that. Like
Mr.
that.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes, sir.
do you know what the process is for getting your hands on one of those bricks you were referring to?
I think it's first come, first back. I'm not exactly sure when they're gonna be available, when
Okay.
they'll have them out. But my understanding, the first 2,000 be given one person at a time until they're gone. And then if they're not picked up, other people may have an opportunity to get more bricks.
Thank you.
And I think they looked into etching, but that was kind of costly, so they.
Did Dr. Gary say when the demo is supposed to be complete?
To be honest with you, I think he had an idea, but I can't remember what it was.
I think it was
Mr. Chairman,
9th or 10th of September. I believe it was the 9th or 10th of September.
we have a member of the school board here.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Lancer, did you have something to add?
Well, I know that they're gonna see.
If you're gonna talk, you need to come up to the podium, please, sir. So we can hear you for the record. I mean,
Absolutely, Councilman. In the contract, they will seed that area with grass, so it won't be a bare spot out there with dirt. And there'll be 2,000 bricks that are set aside, and they'll be given away, from what I know. All of the signage at the top, all that stuff is being saved for future.
Bricks first come first served.
Not the sign, not
The bricks.
the keystones, I think so, yeah. But there's 2,000, so
Yeah.
give or take.
Every family can get one.
Yeah, you know, I mean, whoever wants one. I have one at my dad's house of the school I went to.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we thank Board Member Shaw for being with us this evening. I failed to mention earlier, we have some other special guests this evening. We have Ms. Denise Wilkerson from Palmetto Lifeline, which we'll hear from in a little bit, and also Councilman from Lexington County, Brigham, and Yalbury, and I believe Chairman Cullum came in. I'm glad to have you all on this evening.
Mr. Yarborough was unable to make it, so it's just
Okay.
Chairman Cohen.
Chairman Cullum, okay. Thank you. Next on the agenda, and we thank you all for all your reports. Next on the agenda, we have the Any public comments regarding the agenda? None. No unfinished business this evening, so we will move to item 9, new business. First item on the new business is the appointment of Central Midlands Council of Government representative. Council, what's your pleasure?
I make a motion that we nominate a representative.
And you have,
To the council. I do. I would like to, since it is supposed to be temporary until the elections and the new council is set, I would nominate our town manager as the representative in a temporary position.
I thought we discussed that wasn't.
The Central Midlands told us that it's supposed to be an elected official in a permanent capacity. But they said if you wanted to go temporarily due to elections or until council could decide who they wanted or whatever, the town manager could be temporarily assigned to that position, but it does have to be temporary.
I second the motion.
moved and properly second that we appoint on a temporary basis town manager to represent the town of Batesburg-Leesville on the Central Midlands Council of Government. Is there any discussion? If there is none, we will move for the vote. District 1,
District 1 votes yes.
District 3,
District 3 votes no.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6.
Yes.
And District 4 votes no. Thank you, Council. Next on the agenda, we have a resolution waiving the facility rental fees for the Ministerial Alliance event in August at Haynes Auditorium. Council, what's your pleasure? Perhaps I should read the resolution. Resolution, whereas the Batesburg-Leesville Ministerial Alliance will be hosting a community back-to-school fellowship for teachers, students, and families on August 20th, 2017 from 3 p.m. until 5 p.m. And whereas the Batesburg-Leesville Ministerial Alliance invite all who wish to participate in the event to the Leesville College Park. And whereas the Batesburg-Leesville Ministerial Alliance, a nonprofit organization, has requested a waiver of rental fees associated with the rental of Haynes Auditorium, $150 rental fee for the event. And whereas the Batesburg-Leesville Ministerial Alliance will complete an application for reservations and identify a contact person for instances of damage or other responsibilities. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and town council of Batesburg-Leesville waive the facility rental fees for the Ministerial Alliance for Sunday, August 20th, 2017, dated this 14th day of August 2017. Council, what is your pleasure?
I'd like to move that we resolve to do that. I mean, I think this is something we've done historically in the past.
I second.
Has been moved by District 5, second by District 6. Is there any other discussion? If there is none, District 1,
District 1 votes yes.
District 3,
District 3 votes yes.
District 5,
Yes.
and District 6.
Yes.
And District 4 recludes itself due to personal affiliation. Thank you, Council. Next on the agenda, we have the first reading ordinance to amend the town's adopted Lexington County Animal Control Ordinance. We're gonna refer it to staff for this and explanation of this ordinance.
Okay, I'll wrap this up real quick in a nutshell, and then I'll let Ms. Wilkerson come up and explain more of the nuts and bolts and field any questions the council may have. We received a letter from Chairman Cullum on behalf of County Council that they have recently updated their animal control ordinance based on a partnership that they have formed with Palmetto Lifeline for a community cat program. I will let Ms. Wilkerson Mr. Cullum, Mr. Brigham, any that may wish to have input in this, talk about the details of this program.
Thank you. You may come forward at this time.
Good evening. I'm Denise Wilkinson. I'm the CEO of Palmetto Lifeline, and we have had a partnership with Lexington County since 2008. We also partner with Richland County, and it's our goal to make the region a no-kill community, meaning we do not want companion dogs and cats euthanized just because they're homeless. One of the biggest challenges we have is the cat population. For decades, animal control has trapped cats, picked the cats up, and taken them to the Lexington County shelter. Unfortunately, an adult cat is extremely difficult to adopt. We see it at our facility. I don't know if you've ever been to our facility on Bower Parkway, but it takes about 4 months to adopt an adult cat. The only way to address the overpopulation issue of community cats is through TNR, trap, neuter, and return. This isn't a program that we created or came up with on our own. We have looked at programs across the country, and as late as within the last 2.5, 3 years, Charleston, Spartanburg, and Greenville County are implementing the community cat diversion program. So the way it works is the cats are trapped and they are brought to Palmetto Lifeline. We provide medical services for those cats. We spay or neuter them, we vaccinate them for rabies so they're healthy, so that's a public health concern and issue. And we notch their ear. A lot of people say, if you return the cat, how do I know it's been vaccinated? How do I know it's been altered? It's because that ear is notched. That is the national symbol for a community cat that has been TNR'd. So we want to implement this program in Lexington and Richland County. The city of Columbia has passed this ordinance, Richland County has passed this ordinance, and now we are interested in working with all of the communities in Lexington County. What does that mean? In some communities, we have a big spay-neuter truck. If there's a major issue with an area that has a lot of cats, we have professional trackers. They will help trap those cats. We will send our truck out. We will pick those cats up. They will come back to Palmetto Lifeline. We have surgery Monday through Thursday. We do 42 surgeries a day. We do over 7,900 surgeries a year. The cats spend 24 hours with us. So we can check them the next morning, make sure they're okay, and then we return them to the location in which they were trapped. Everybody goes, why would you do that? Most of the time, if there is a problem with cats, the real problem is you've got a feeder. So the only way to correct or eliminate that issue is to eliminate the feeder. And a lot of people just will not stop feeding the cats. If you remove the cats and take them to the shelter and euthanize them, new cats are going to move into that area. What happens is cats are like dogs. They form a pack. There's a male cat in charge of the colony. We alter the male cat as well as all of the other cats, and that cat controls the number of cats that move into that colony. And that colony dies out eventually within several years. If you just trap the cats, take them to the county, euthanize them, more cats move in. So it's just a vicious cycle. It's costing taxpayers millions and millions of dollars to pick up these cats and just take them to the shelter and euthanize them. So we're asking that we replicate a proven program that's being done in Charleston and Greenville and Spartanburg and other cities around South Carolina. I used to go before council and talk about what was going on in New York City and California, and they'd say, what are you doing here? Well, now it's these programs are being implemented in other areas in our state. And so I am asking that we take a humane approach to addressing a long-term problem. This is the only way to solve this problem. A lot of people say, what about wildlife? If you spay and neuter, you limit the cat population. If you limit the cat population, you limit the risk to wildlife. So I just wanted to come in. I wanted to answer any questions you may have. We're willing to partner with your local vet. Oh, I didn't know if that was time. Quiet. I'm not going to take up too much time. 3 minutes. So, I know it may sound like, what, you gonna do what?
Ms. Wilkerson,
Uh-huh,
I have been doing this on my own for the last 10 years, at my own expense.
wonderful, thank you.
But I have one concern that I don't think we can answer here easily.
Okay.
Most of my district is not in Lexington County, it's in Saluda County. Just, that's whatever.
Right,
But I'm just saying that in the last 10 years, I've probably taken in at my own expense, probably 20 to 30 different cats that I have taken in, I've run the trap, take them in, get them fixed, rabies, release them because they fill the void when they come back home. My wife says, well, what if it's somebody's pet and you get it fixed? I said, they ought to be very happy that I paid for it. So-
thank you for doing
But I'm just
that.
saying, now, I thought West Columbia had already committed to this as well, or were they still on the margin?
Well, we already partner with West Columbia,
Okay.
with their dog and cat population. They have a
Right.
very, very successful TNR program. Most all of their cats come to Pomerol Lifeline.
Okay,
And we provide medical services for them. I am not saying that we only partner with Lexington and Richland County. We have people driving 2-3 hours to our spay and neuter clinic because we do services sometimes for $20 or $0 to
Right.
have a cat or dog spayed
now
and
to
neutered.
follow up this, considering I've already told you what my expenses have been. I do live in Lexington County. If I capture and bring one, if we pass this resolution, whatever, will I start getting a better rate for it then? Instead of having to take it down to the discount debt in North Augusta?
You're already going to get a great rate at Pomerol Lifeline, but we do have grants. We offer grants several months during the year for cats, but we also are applying for some very, very large grants right now, hundreds of thousands of dollars to hopefully support this program. Anybody that wants to have a cat or dog altered, we'd love to do it for free or at a major discount. So we're really trying to help everybody so it's affordable. For me, when I see somebody like you doing this on your own, we need to do everything that we can to support you. And so,
Well, the only negative I've seen from my side of things is, as I get the cats fixed, I have more raccoons.
okay, raccoons are next.
I understand. You know,
Are you, yeah.
I trapped 12 raccoons in a week.
I am told that the raccoons will show up and eat. There's a way in which to feed the cats. We feed them once a day, early in the mornings. We don't feed them several times a day.
Right.
We loan traps. We do require a refundable deposit for those that don't have, a trap. We're also looking at partnerships. I've just hired an individual as of August 1 to run this program. We are trying to recruit ambassadors from every single district in Lexington County that can work with us and be here to speak on our behalf. So the ordinance just passed. We're just getting things organized, but hopefully October 1 we'll be ready to go with everything.
Well, my question is about the cost to the citizen. If in fact,
Can we get this officially on the record so that we can discuss this? I make a motion that we pass this resolution.
I'll second.
Okay.
If we need a resolution, okay.
Moved by District 6. and
Ordinance.
Second by 5.
Sorry, this
We need a
ordinance.
vote on the ordinance?
No, we need it.
No, we're in discussion phase.
Right.
yeah,
I'm sorry, Rachel.
that's all right. But I did want to know about the cost to a citizen. Say, one in my district, there's a lady that is a feeder. If somebody were to request a trap or to request that Lexington County comes out, from what I read, it looks like the expense falls on the person that calls and requests it.
Right.
So tell me how that works.
If an individual is willing to do it themselves, a private citizen that is concerned and wants to participate, and there are no grant dollars available, it is $40. If we send our staff, our trappers, our truck out to, say, pick up 35 to 50 cats at one time, it's $60 per cat. But
You
like I
said
said,
60 or 60?
60.
60.
60.
And who pays that? If your truck comes out, say there is, so it's the individual that calls it in?
But what we do is, for the larger colonies, we help raise money. The South Carolina Correctional Institute called us. They had over 100 cats. We did a campaign. We raised the money. We went out. We had all the cats trapped. We got the prisoners feeding the cats. Pick them up, bring them in, hold them for 24 hours, take them back and release them. It's kind of a win-win for everything. The prisoners love taking care of those cats and feeding them. And so we take every situation individually, and you know, we're here to help people, whether it's spaying and neutering, or if you're struggling, providing medical services for your privately owned pet. We have a Good Samaritan medical fund set up where we assist people so they can keep their pets and they don't end up in the municipal shelters. So we really, most people want to do the right thing, they just need a little bit of help. And so that's why we're trying to make these medical services as affordable as possible, and we're trying to say this is everybody's problem. It's not just Pomerantz Lifeline's problem, it's not just, you know, his problem, it's a community problem, and we need to work together to solve it, because what we've been doing is not working. So let's look at what is working in other communities, replicate that, and hopefully in the long run, save money. I'd rather see my tax dollars being spent on education or health care or things that, you know, can really make our community a great place in which to live.
So does this resolution just give us this option? Or does it take the place of what is currently provided by the county that folks are already paying taxes for?
Larry Brigham, Lexington County Council, we adopted the program. So if you do not adopt it here, I don't know what you're going to do with the cats, because we aren't going to do it anymore. So that's kind of where you are with this. I had a couple questions about it being on the western end, far end, Batesburg-Leesville on the far eastern end. Not many people are going to take cats from Walmart, wherever they get them, all the way over there, and then take them all the way back and let them out. It's going to be a big deal for folks to do that over here. So I really had questions about that. So I asked Denise, would this group, Palmetto, be willing to work with Dr. Wagner, Female Animal Services, and make sure there's at least a stopping point to take these cats where it won't be so hard on us to get them all the way over there? And she said, yes, they'd be willing to do that. The other issue I had is, let's just say a couple gets a trap, sets it, Monday morning, they work long hours, they get back on Monday night, we have 100-degree weather, that cat is dead. When they get home, who's liable? I'm in the insurance business, okay? Who's liable for that? It's the person that trapped the cat. It's not the county, it's not Palmetto. So I had an issue with that as well. But county council did adopt the program, which means it is a program that we will implement. It's your choice to join on.
I have one other question, and I am certainly not being argumentative. I have no idea what fraction of my tax dollars that goes to the county pays for this particular service that the county has now chosen to discontinue. What happens to that money I pay?
Come on, Jeremy.
Because if I decide that, the fire department's not going to put my house fire out, I want my money back.
Well, first, good evening. Glad to be here with you folks this evening. Denise, good seeing you. And Larry, always good seeing you. Great question. Let me roll back just for a second here. We have had a relationship with Alabama since 2008, and I would say it's been a fruitful relationship. We first set up and putting the building in place, contractually what they do for us on a yearly basis, services that they provide that we don't provide, that you as a taxpayer don't pay for. So it has been a good relationship for the county and for Palmetto to engage in the services that they do for us as taxpayers. Earlier this year, there was some discussion about entering into this program. The council, by majority vote, made a decision that we're going to no longer do cats. We're not in the cat business, which means this, is that when a citizen calls, you ask, a citizen calls, county animal services for services for cats, they'll be asked to contact Denise's folks. Okay? What that means is that they'll walk through the program with you. As it was, as I understood it, the way it was explained to me on a number of occasions is that you'll be asked to come and pick up a trap, okay? And you'll set your trap, and then once the animal has been captured, you're asking that you bring the animal back to them from the spade. Then they're gonna ask you to return to pick that animal and trap up again, take it back to where it was captured, or in the general vicinity where it's captured, release it, and then return their trap to them, okay? If you've got multiple ones, I'm certain that they would probably want you to keep it, then maybe you can catch the second one or the third, or however you have. I think there was a question about cost. The explanation we got about cost was is that it could be, it may be the cost to the taxpayer if, again, as Denise just said, there are no funds available for the offset of the cost of the spare. So you could be responsible. I don't know that you are. We never really got.
Would the citizen be notified at that time whether funds are available and they can make the decision whether they wanted to pay it or
I think
not?
that program, again, I'm just trying to go through a scenario like Larry just did.
I'm still back to my original question. What happened to the money that I used to pay for that?
Well, that money is still being collected, and that's about a $900,000 a year budget, okay? And we have it's not true. Our budget was just put in place. Now we have 6 officers that work the entire county. We cover your municipal area, we cover Gilbert, we do not cover Casey, and we do not cover West Columbia. Okay? We cover Irmo, we cover every other municipality other than Casey, West Columbia, with those 6 officers, all right? Now, what that means is that, are you asking for a refund?
Yes.
You're not getting it. And let me tell you why. It's because, just because we're not in the cat business anymore, we're only in dogs and other animals, we're not gonna be triaging and taking those calls on, of which now we can go and do other calls. They'll just be displaced calls that we won't handle any further. They'll be handled again purely through citizen interaction with Power Line. And that's what the decision of the council was. Now, the reason we're here with you this evening is that we amended our animal ordinance. And for those folks that we supply or provide service to, we ask that you adopt our ordinances for service. So if you adopt our amended ordinance, we'll still provide services for you in town for everything other than cats. Everything that we've done before other than cats.
So Todd, if we don't pass it, what happens?
Well,
No.
I don't know that I want to be that. I'll be the fellow that's gonna tell you the truth.
Well, yeah,
If you don't adopt our county ordinance
yes.
as it is in its current state, we're no longer able to provide services for you inside the town.
It's for dogs.
Any service.
That's not much worse than we have in right now.
What I'm saying is, that our ordinance reads that if you go in and you adopt our ordinances, and I think your town manager may be able to confirm that, you adopt our county ordinance as your town ordinance.
That's correct.
So-
Yeah, we do, yeah.
And that provides us the ability to provide you service through the county.
All right.
Well, I'm not running for reelection. I'm not trying to grandstand, but this just doesn't seem right, that you continue to collect the money for what we used to get, and we're not gonna get it anymore, and that if you want what you're paying for but not getting, you gotta pay for it again.
Well,
Here's a question before we keep, Mayor.
But that's just a rhetorical statement.
may I answer that? And I understand that reason. I do. However, also too is that when we have calls that come in and there's 6 people that are spread across this entire 700 square miles of the county, okay, absent of 2 municipalities. I would only say this to you, Councilman Bradley. We would hope, and of course this program, today, right now, we're collecting cats. And we're hoping to have this done by October 1.
Yeah.
I would hope that our service becomes a little bit more quickly in response, because we're not doing the cats anymore.
Sure.
Whereas sometimes we can't even get to the call the same day produced. And we may be getting there 4, 6, and even 8 hours after the call for service. Obviously can't do EMS that way. Obviously can't do fire service that way. Obviously can't do law enforcement that way.
Wouldn't advocate it.
No. And all I'm saying is I understand your reason, I really do. I understand that. There was something else here.
This whole thing is crazy to me because when did we have a cat problem? Where are all these cats we talking about?
Oh, we definitely have a cat, we do have a cat.
How many cats you talking about? I don't have any cats. I want cats in my yard because of the snakes and the lizards and things that they mice that they keep down. And I'm not having this problem, and this is totally nuts to me. You know, I don't know how many cats you're talking about. Where are they?
Well, I can tell you where there's as she calls it, a colony on Academy Street. In my
Go
district.
get me one or two
They-
of them. Bring them over there, and I'll.
Absolutely.
You can relocate them
There
for
is-
free.
I would submit to you, sir, that there are ample cats at our facilities that you're welcome to.
Yeah, but if we got a problem here, then, I mean, I'd like to have a few cats but I don't see that this being,
It's a problem, Steve. I can
We
tell you.
collected
Bob, where's the data? I mean, you see cats every day, don't make it's a problem at your house, but overall in the town, where's the data?
Owen Drug, another one
but
that
where's
has
the
had,
data?
and this is downtown.
Where is the data? I don't see this as being.
But, all right, so,
Well, Mr. Kane, I submit to you, we collected over 3,000 cats countywide last year.
I'm talking on Batesburg.
Well, we can find those numbers.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. I like to if you're going to well,
I
let-
do about
let me
10 a
just say
year in
this.
my yard.
okay, Bob.
Let me just say this, that, as Councilman said, we are now under the, auspices of the Lexington County Animal, Control Ordinance. And if we don't adopt these changes, then
Right.
we have no animal control.
that's right.
And Chairman
So it's
Cullen,
not piecemeal, it's all or nothing.
and Chairman Cullen, this is set to run October 1st, 2017 until October 1st of 2019, correct?
A 2-year.
2-year.
A 2-year break.
We told.
Is that
Palmetto-
correct?
We told Palmetto that we would engage in this program for 2 years, okay? However, there is, the ability, within 30 days for either party, if we, feel like, it's not, working out for either party, we can give each other notice, for what our intentions would be, and if we ever wanted to discontinue the program, we would do that in an amicable way, and we would do it in a way that would not create a lot of service demand, either per organization or ours in a very short time.
Is somebody going to be tracking statistical data about
Yes.
where the cats are coming from and
Yeah.
as a part of the program?
Let me say this. One thing we really do, I pride myself on talking about, and I think Larry would speak to it too, we do a lot of measurements in Lexington County. We measure a lot of things. And we can tell you how many cats we've collected. We can tell you every call we've been on. We can tell you every address we've been on. And I'm certain we can probably tell you every animal that we either collected or either someone was either ticketed or whatever the outcome of the call was, okay?
Well, I will tell you, there has been, in my district, I'm in District 1, there has been a cat issue for a number of years. And
What I was
it,
gonna tell you, though, Council Lady, is that we can provide you the data of what we collect, where we collect. Obviously, Denise is gonna have a very good record of it, because she's gonna perform a spay or either neuter on the animal, so she will know for sure how many are coming in. And in her internal process, and I don't wanna speak for her, but you're gonna require name, address, and they don't wanna know where these animals came from, because they'd like to see them return back where they came from.
I wanted to say one thing that might make it go a little bit better, and when you're talking about funding, we provide annually $1.7 million in services, spay neuter services and adoption services at no charge to Lexington and Richmond County. So if you have someone that needs to surrender a cat, we're gonna be the organization that they're gonna call first to put a cat out for adoption. We offer 500 free state neuter services to Lexington County residents a year, the same thing for Richland County. So we are reallocating resources from funds that we are raising back to your county. So when you look at what you're expending for these services and probably what it would really cost for you to implement all the programs that have proven to be effective, it would be so much more than what you're currently spending. So I want you to know you're getting a lot of money invested back into Lexington County.
Let me get this real crystal clear before we vote on this thing. You got a cat problem, right? Somebody, most times it's gonna be the neighbor that has a cat problem because the person that's feeding the cat don't have a problem with the cat. So you want them to trap the cat. First of all, you gotta drive over to Harbison, get a trap, come back to Batesburg, trap the cat, and then take the cat back to Harbison, come back to Batesburg, and then go back to Harbison again, and come back to Batesburg.
Now, what currently?
And then pay $60 to boot.
It's a
Okay.
the trap is a refundable fee. What we're looking at right now, is we've already got 9 organizations that are partnering with us to help us implement this program. We're looking at local ambassadors in every single community to help us implement this program. We're looking for businesses that will allow us to leave our traps at their businesses to make it more convenient for people to get a trap to use to bring their trap cat home to lifeline.
Ms. Wilkerson, I think this is where it's crucial that the relationship be built with the Batesburg-Leesville Animal Clinic here locally. For either trap retrieval, the spay and neutering services, if y'all can work the grants out and the financial side out to where they can perform those services here. I do think from the feedback and talking with people, and like Councilman McCain just said, the distance between here and Harbison Boulevard is going to make this a very difficult thing on the furthest western portion of Lexington County. I would encourage you, and I will talk with Ms. Wagner and pass your information along to her, Dr. Wagner. I think it's crucial that y'all get together and try and have something in place by October 1st.
Mr. Chairman,
I believe.
could I make one more comment? I'm not gonna ask a question, I'm gonna make a comment. By the way, thank y'all very much. It seems like we have to vote on whether or not we continue to want animal control in Batesburg-Leesville or not. That's what this vote is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My understanding is if we do not make our changes, you won't do any animal control for anything. Dogs, whatever.
So we get a refund of our money then. If you're not gonna do it at all, we get our pay.
Only your words.
I just want to make sure that I understand this.
Call for the vote.
I believe, we have a call for the vote. I believe they've answered all of our questions. Thank you so much, Ms. Wilkerson and Chairman Cullum and Councilman Brigham for your, explanation and answers to all of our questions. If there are no other questions, we have a call for the vote. District 1.
Do we not, we've already had the motion?
Motion by Councilmember in 5th District and 6th District and second by the 5th.
All right, District 1 votes yes.
District 3.
District 3 votes no.
District 5.
Yes.
District 6.
Yes.
And District 4 votes yes. Thank you all so much. Next on the agenda, we have the first reading of an ordinance to annex nine parcels of property along Bobcat Road and Ponderosa Estates into the town limits of Batesburg-Leesville in conjunction with R1 Single Family Residential Zoning. Council, what's your pleasure?
Move to adopt.
Motion by District.
I talked with Mr. Bradley about this afternoon,
About what?
about this annexation.
Annexation.
That we're discussing now. He said he did not get the actual language of this ordinance until Wednesday of last week. He was in trial on Thursday and Friday in family court. He has not even had an opportunity to review the document. And it was just suggested that we passed off until the next meeting.
It has been suggested by council that we,
Motion to table.
well, the motion wasn't second, so it's not really a motion on the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry, we did have a motion second, I apologize.
We did? We did not.
Okay.
We did have a motion in a second. Yeah.
It has been recommended by council that we table this item on the agenda. Council, what's your pleasure?
Do we have to have a second for the table motion?
I think I second it.
Okay.
You said,
He made a motion to table, I'll second the motion.
thank you, thank you. If there's no other discussion, District 1,
District 1 votes yes.
District 3,
District 3 votes yes.
District 5,
Yes,
and District 6?
Yes.
And District 4 votes yes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, first reading. Ordinance to rezone 3 parcels of property along West Columbia Avenue from R3 multifamily residential to C2 transitional commercial, Lexington County Tax Map number 007021-02-011 and 00724-01-001 and 007-025-01-001. Council, what is your pleasure?
Has this been reviewed by our attorney? I move that we adopt.
Motion by District 1,
I'll second so that we can discuss this.
second by District 6. Floor is open for discussion.
I have a question.
That's fine.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
All right, I tell you, I read the notes, and I'm not exactly clear, even though I know the numbers here, which parcels we're discussing.
Okay, you're talking about, you have the Hartley House, which is now Shealy Laboratory. You've got the vacant property right beside it that's on the corner of Schoolhouse Lane and Highway 1. That parcel is one. Then across the street is another vacant parcel that the cemetery is not a part of that parcel. It is a separate, but it's all the vacant property around the cemetery. And then the school district property is the third property.
The old school building, or the district office.
The district office building, correct. That's the 3 parcels.
I've got to ask, is the district office really zoned R3?
It is.
That's part of what was confusing me very much, because that didn't make sense.
And actually, the land use, the future land use in the comprehensive plan actually calls for that entire stretch to be C2 as a part of the future land use.
Well, that makes sense, excuse me, Mayor. Okay. But that makes sense to me, that it was amazing to me that the district office was listed as a residential. That's why I was puzzled by this. Okay, thank you.
Does the zoning board have a recommendation?
The planning commission voted unanimously to recommend the council approval.
Yes.
Teddy, am I to understand that Batesburg School District 18 is Lexington 3?
I saw that too. I don't know why it shows Lexington School District 18 under the ownership. That may be something that school board member, Mr. Scholl, may want
Does
to.
anybody know if that's what the district used to be called?
But it is showing its
That's what it showed
ownership
from
of
the county.
Lexington School District 18 in the county tax system.
I don't know.
Okay, if it's legally okay.
If
You did say this had been reviewed.
If.
It's been reviewed.
Yeah, no, okay. I think I'd say, to staff, is that we took pains over the years in council not to spot zone. It was a big fight, and we decided that we weren't gonna, spot zone, and we, once a month almost, or once every other month or so, we spot zone things. And when you do that, you run the risk of being arbitrary and capricious. When one comes up and you say, okay, we're not gonna do this one, but you've done 10 or 15 others. Be very careful.
And Councilman Gaines, I'll go back to the last meeting when you brought this up as well. I did in fact this time go to the comprehensive plan and looked at the future land use that had been established. And it does call for C2 on this property. So doing this would start the trend of setting this area as C2.
I understand what the future is, but right now, we are spot zoning like crazy. But that's fine.
Does this require a public hearing?
Next meeting, yes, it would. That would occur in second reading.
No other discussions? Are you ready for the question? District 1,
District 1 votes yes.
District 3,
District 3 votes yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6.
Yes.
And District 4 votes yes. Thank you, council, for that first reading. And manager, you said the public hearing is scheduled for the future?
September.
September. Okay, thank you. Next, we have on the agenda the manager's report. We refer to our town manager.
Okay, we had a very successful National Night Out event this year. We saw an increase in attendance. Once again, the Dream Catchers and Chamber and the Ministerial Alliance, well, the Chamber and some of its affiliate groups assisted the town and the Sheriff's Department with the National Night Out event, which allowed us to expand the opportunities for the children that came that night to have different activities to do. We were very pleased with the turnout. Sheriff Coon probably spent more time there this year than he has any previous year. He seemed to really enjoy it and had some very positive feedback about our event, and I think he attends 3 each year. Actually more than that. He attended 3 that night, and he had a couple more the next couple of days. And I had lunch with him the other day, and his feedback was very positive about our National Night Out event. And so next year we will look to continue to grow that even more.
Did you mention the Ministerial Alliance was directly involved, I believe? With
I did. I said Dream Catchers and the Ministerial Alliance and all the affiliate groups of the Chamber. I think it's up to EDC. The Eclipse event, August 21st, I will tell you we are, I think, 13 miles or less from Cox Ferry and Highway 1, which is actually the location where the Eclipse will have the longest viewing time in the Midlands. And being right up the road from that, we are anticipating, just as I'm sure Lexington and everybody else in the Midlands is, I think Mike Taylor can speak to how many phone calls he's received, not only from people out of town, but people from other countries that are coming, that intend to come to Batesburg-Leesville that day. We are only 4 seconds shorter in viewing time than Cox Ferry and Highway 1. So we are expecting a big crowd that day. The town has partnered with the public library, Lexington County Public Library. We're going to close off Armory Street. We'll have parking behind the library as well as at the National Guard Armory. There will be glasses there to be passed out. And so we would invite anyone that wants to view it and view it safely with the glasses that will be passed out at that event. Come on out to the Lexington County Public Library and be a part of experiencing this as a community. So,
Ted, will you be able to pick up glasses prior to the 21st?
I'm gonna tell you, they're selling them at grocery stores for 99 cents. They will be giving out free ones at the library, I guess, until glasses, I would say supplies, but until glasses last.
Only on the 21st at the library?
The day of, yes. Yes, sir. So, if you're looking for something to do that day, come out to the library and experience it with your neighbors and friends. And the last thing I have is I've emailed out and I've received a few more responses, but trying to have a council work session August 28th to have further discussion about the strategic plan and to finalize that, to get it on next month's agenda to be voted on and adopted. As well, further discussion about hospitality tax, and the last thing is some employee policy and procedure manual changes that we have for council to review, so. But August 28th, if you haven't responded, please let me know if you can attend that evening.
Chairman.
August 20th, Councilman King.
Ted, we've had some conversations, but I'm really growing increasingly frustrated with the staff because, you are a tax and spend bureaucrat. You like a lot of regulation and big government. But when I come into town on this side, when I come in from Macon, the town looks terrible. Your focus is on hospitality taxes. You increase taxes and fees over the last 4 or 5 years now, since you've been here. Now, we have couches on the side of the road. We have the right-of-ways that are not being maintained. We suspended, or we did away with the bulk trash pickup. And, I have no idea what Tim is doing down at the wastewater plant. We had that conversation briefly here. There is no plan. It's all sizzle and no steak. There needs to be a plan of where this town is going, who's doing what, and to what end. We're going to be on the hook here in a little while. You pushing the water plant, we pushing repairs to the sewer plant.
Mr. Kane, I am not going to sit here and listen to town employees berated like this and then not be able to defend themselves.
Well,
I will not be a part of this. Mr. Chairman, I would ask that you stop this.
Is there a question for the manager?
There is a question for the manager. The question
Let's get to it.
The question is, do you have a daily plan, or do you have a yearly plan as to what in the world are we doing?
As I stated, August 28th, I would like to finalize discussions about the strategic plan that council has been and staff have been working on to get that finalized so that.
The strategic plan is.
And we do weekly department head meetings. I think all my department heads in attendance tonight will vouch that we discuss.
Okay, council doesn't have that report. We have no idea what y'all meeting about and what y'all doing.
Because that is the internal operations of the town, which falls underneath my purview.
Okay.
In the day-to-day
You have
operations.
oversight over
Does that
you.
complete your report?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ted. Next on the agenda is the executive session discussion of personnel matters relating to the town manager's annual evaluation. Council, what's your pleasure?
So move that we move into executive session.
Motion by District 6. Second by District 1. We are now, we'll break for executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we come back into regular session from executive session.
I second it.
Motion by Councilmember 6 and second by Councilmember 1.
And just to amend my motion with no action having been taken.
Amen. District 1,
District 1 votes yes.
District 3,
District 3 votes yes.
District 5,
Yes.
and District 6.
Yes.
We're back in regular session. Next on there was no decisions made in executive session relating to the town manager's annual evaluation. Possible action by council and follow-up is none. Next item is potential agenda items for next month's meeting. Is there any? Haven't heard none. We will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
We are adjourned. Thank you, council.